Hi, my name is Dr. Melissa Teo. I'm a senior lecturer in the School of Architecture and Built Environment in the Faculty of Engineering in QUT.
Now, Melissa, I've seen that in your research you've done a lot of work in community engagement and particularly within that crisis disaster management. How does that research fit within the ecology and the ecosystem of the school?
So we're a very transdisciplinary school, and the research that I do in particular has people-focused, community-focused, centric aspect to it. It's really about understanding how people living in built environment, how they're dealing with disasters, how are we as built environment professionals and academics making environments that are more resilient and safe for our communities, particularly given the context of climate change and disasters that we face on a yearly basis with floods and maybe not so much bushfires, but definitely floods.
Yes. And it seems that if we hear the word unprecedented one more time, how many times we've heard that in the recent years. A lot of your work is research and I guess theory. How do you take that research and put it into a real world that's changing literally so rapidly?
So the work that I do, the research that I do is funded by governments, and we engage with communities to look at, for example, ways communities communicate, get information about disasters. Yes. To try and understand what's the best way for governments to be communicating critical information, real-time, on-time information. What's the best way? What do the community networks of influence look like, and how can we make the most of this to keep communities safe in a disaster?
Yeah, wow, how interesting. And so, what are the local global trends in this space at the moment?
So I guess there's a lot of focus on the use of technology like artificial intelligence, and potentially looking at how we could incorporate AI as a tool, for example, to help communicate with diverse communities, people who might not necessarily speak English, for example, people who might not understand Australian technical terms, even disaster terminology like 1 in a 100-year flood. What does that mean? Yeah. So making AI, I think, has a role in the future in making information accessible and being able to interpret that in a way that communities, everyday people can understand.
And I imagine when it comes to city making that, this research is so valuable. What influence does the work you do play in city making?
Well, the work that I do is commissioned by governments, for example, and so we're looking at some of those recommendations in the long run, informing government policy in terms of how we design buildings, the approval processes involved, how do we make our infrastructure and buildings more resilient to flooding and all the other disasters that we might potentially encounter in the near future given those impacts of climate change. Yeah,
it's a rapidly changing space, isn't it? And finally, why ABE for research, do you think?
Oh, we've just got such wonderful researchers who are absolutely passionate about the areas of research that they do. They understand some of those real-world challenges of living, engaging, playing in a built environment, and so we bring that real-world experience. We, through the research that we do, we understand those real-world problems and how those solutions can work in different contexts for different stakeholders, including governments, for example.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I can literally see how you could actually save lives with the work you're doing. So congratulations and thank you so much for the chat.
Thank you for your time.